everybody, welcome to Excel video 402. I'm Nate Moore. I've already gone back and forth about what to cover in the next series of Excel videos, and what I finally decided to do was macros, and I'll show you why. My day job, what I spend most of my time doing is organizing and summarizing and filtering and analyzing, putting together data in SQL Server, and then connecting it directly to Excel. And when you do that, you can do all of the analysis, all of the number crunching stuff in SQL, and connect it directly to Excel. If your data is in the cloud, more and more folks are going to the cloud for their data to save on IT departments and costs and stuff like that. The problem is that you're limited in the reports you can get, and what they'll dump, you generally have to clean before you can get it to Excel. By clean, I mean you might have to get rid of headers or footers or page numbers, or you might have to look up additional fields or whatever you might have to do. There's stuff involved to dump data from the cloud, you clean it and get it to Excel before you can do the analysis. And macros can speed up and automate this process here. If you're stuck with data in the cloud and you want data in an organized fashion in Excel, macros and VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, can be your friend. So that's what we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about macros, we're going to talk about VBA, and I want to show you just some basic things to get started. From the File menu, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the menu that we need from Options, and it's going to be in the Options menu in Excel 2010 as well. If you go over here to Customize Ribbon over here in the left-hand side, I'm going to check the box for Developer and click OK. When I check that box, now I've got Developer on the ribbon, and I'm going to get macros and Visual Basic. We are going to play a lot with this macro recorder. There's a bunch of things that I can do now that I've turned on the Developer tab from the Options Customize Ribbon menu. That's step number one. Second thing I want to talk to you about is as soon as you do macros or VBA in a spreadsheet, I want to show you what happens to the spreadsheet. If I open this test file here, this file has some VBA code in it, and the first thing you'll notice is this yellow bar along the top that says, hey, we're blocking the macros. And there are a couple of choices to deal with this, but before I get to those choices, let's just look at this XLM test file for a minute. I want to bring up this window here. Normal Excel 2007, 10, and 13 files are stored with an extension xlsx. A macro file, anything that's got a macro or VBA in it, anything that's got code in it, has this xlsm extension, and it's stored as a macro-enabled worksheet. When Excel sees that, it's going to block that by default. And there are a couple of things you can do. First off, you can enable content, and the macros will run. Obviously, you want to be careful doing this if you don't know where the spreadsheet came from. If you enable macros, all kinds of bad things can happen to your PC and your network. If you click on this hyperlink here where macros have been disabled, what you can do is there's a security warning, and here's some options to enable content and advanced options. What kind of content do I want to enable? The thing I want to spend a minute on is the Trust Center here. Again, the way I got here was this hyperlink, and then I'm going to go to Trust Center Settings. Two places I want to go. I play a lot with trusted locations, not so much with macros because I do most of my work in SQL Server, but when I connect data from SQL Server to Excel and tell Excel every time you open, go get data from SQL Server, one of the things that Excel's programmed to do is to squawk anytime you get data coming from outside Excel. It's worried that you might get a virus or somehow corrupt your file. So I'll set up a trusted location where I'll store all the data that I'm connecting to SQL Server, and then what Excel will do is it will not warn you about files stored in a trusted location. So you can go to your trusted location, set one up, you can put it on your network. You can see Excel or Microsoft doesn't recommend that, but you can add a new location where you put all your macro files, and that will work. The other thing you can do here is in macro settings, and what macro settings will do is give you four options. Disable all macros without notification, which means I'm going to block all the macros, and I'm not even going to tell you I'm blocking them, I'm just blocking them. This is kind of the recommended setting, and this is where I leave it. Disable all macros with notification. So I'm going to get the warning like I did. Hey, there are macros here. I'm not going to run them unless you tell me I can. This option, I'm going to disable all macros except digitally signed macros. For the macros you and I are going to write in the next several Excel videos, I don't think we're going to go to the trouble to digitally sign them and worry about trusted publishers and all that kind of stuff. Enable all macros is not recommended because any place you get a spreadsheet, any macro you want can run and can wreak havoc with your network or your PC or whatever. So macro settings, disable all macros with notification. trusted locations, if you're going to do a bunch of macros or you're going to dump your cloud data in the same folder every time and then work with it, you might make a trusted location out on your PC or on your network or someplace with this caution by adding a new location and saying anything in here will be trusted. So those are the three things I want to talk to you about today. I want to get the ribbon customized. I want to talk a little bit about xlsm files, and I want to tell you how to deal with this macros have been enabled. Once I've looked at it, I can always enable content, and I'm good to go. As I open the spreadsheet going forward, I'm good. We're underway. We're going to start with the basics of macros and the macro recorder, start talking about the pros and cons of the macro recorder, and we'll do that next time. Thanks for watching.